Hi, everybody. I wanted to come on here today because I recently posted a video that was a little insight into my online course that I created, which is my proudest accomplishment. And I let you in on the reality that that would have not happened if I had not sprained my ankle a couple winters ago. And in it is a life lesson, which is that out of some of our greatest challenges can come some of our most actualized life purposes, and out of our drama can come our dharma, and our mess can come our success. And we all know that we've heard of that, but I wanted to sort of reference a few things, including the 12-step idea of a rock bottom, Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, and also just medically, and in the world of mental health and healthcare, the idea that coming from illness and injury can come your greatest health. So this message today is just to inspire you and motivate you and empower you in that the challenges you're going through right now, not only do they not define you, they can be a stepping stone and even a launching pad to what it is that you're ultimately going after in your life. And you might get there faster having experienced this breakdown. We could use so many analogies, like, in farming and in golf and, the ocean waves. And there's so many analogies you can use where stress, like if you have a plant that's growing, just, the good kind of stress, when you stress the plant that grows stronger, it starts to produce all of these, abilities in its immune system and its ability to grow and be resilient. And if it didn't have those stressors, it wouldn't grow up to be so strong. You can use analogies across the board. Probably in every culture, there's stories of this type of thing. So I wanted to just focus today on the specific idea of a rock bottom. I want to share something with you guys. In recovery, people who are overcoming any kind of addiction, any kind of trauma, a lot of people reference their rock bottom, which is the most difficult place they ever thought they'd get to. They reference it in the rearview mirror as a source of strength. Let me say that again. You might come to a place in your life where you can reference your rock bottom as a source of strength. So we all know that when you're going through a rock bottom, your first initial reaction is not to say, I'm going to learn something from this. You don't want to have spiritual bypassing. You don't want to gaslight yourself. You're going through a really tough time. You need to make it through. But if you've been through enough things, you might actually start having that story in your head, a little birdie in your ear saying, you know what? I'm going to learn something from this. I can see a couple positives from this. And you might even start to have that relationship to challenges as opportunities in the moment, as opposed to just later. And even furthermore, we like to say in recovery and kind of codependency and Al-Anon, right? Like, you don't want to rob someone of their rock bottom. In other words, if someone is struggling and you're constantly bolstering them and you're constantly giving them the solution or providing for them, easing their challenge, you might be robbing them of that critical thinking and that experiential process of learning the way of becoming resilient. And you might be robbing them of their rock bottom. Robbing them of their rock bottom, it's kind of counterintuitive. Like, saving them from their rock bottom makes sense, but robbing them of the opportunity to grow through that rock bottom. So just think about that the next time you're trying to feel bad for someone, pity them, save them from a situation. It might be just what they need to catapult them to a place where they're not going to be needing assistance anymore. It might be something that they're experiencing a level of pain or discomfort in their life that they've never encountered, and that speaks to them on a deeper level than any level of help would. Maybe some kind of switch clicks on inside of them and it helps them step up and just root in and start to fight for their own life in a way. So I just wanted to offer that analogy for you guys in that little story. The next thing that I sort of promised that I would mention is health and injury and illness being a catalyst for our greatest health. Just think back to the last time that you were really sick or injured. It sucks. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. You have to hobble around or use your left hand or, you know, be bedridden for a little bit or take some kind of medication. But have you noticed that if the treatment is healthy, meaning that if you have an injury and you're using natural approaches, or you're using vitamins and more rest and boundary setting and nutrients and maybe you're doing physical therapy, you get in the best shape and the best health of your life afterwards. Oftentimes pharmaceutical and a lot of Western medicine approaches like surgery and pills, they can take you down a route, especially if you're in pain and you start taking painkillers, for example, you're just going to fall and get injured and get addicted. That's kind of a downward spiral. You don't get in the best shape and the best health of your life if you follow those. I truly believe there's a place for Western medicine, there's a place for medication. So I'm not poo pooing on it. But I think for a very large percentage of the things we go through, we can approach it in a natural way. That's just been my life journey. Um, and the sort of thing that I preach in this lifetime. And I find that when you are using these natural Eastern approaches, holistic approaches, it gets you on a very healthy track and you find that it makes you healthy, makes you healthier than you would have been, had you not had this blood pressure issue or this obesity issue and dealt with it, then you wouldn't be as healthy as you are. That actual, injury or illness is bringing you and delivering you to a healthier place in your life. So if you've just recently gotten a diagnosis or you're dealing with an injury right now, for example, I just want to encourage you that you're going through it, and real talk, it's hard. It's definitely not comfortable. And don't forget that there's so much more to your vitality and your health span than you can see right now. And you will absolutely get to the other side of this, and you're going to be even stronger and even better for it. And I just wanted to just drop this in your ear because I really feel that oftentimes when we come against challenges, we forget that it is a continuum. Like I said earlier, if you hit a really challenging moment, if you understand the process and the continuum of challenge and overcoming it, like Joseph Campbell so brilliantly does when he describes the hero's journey, you will begin to see challenges in a totally different way and experience them in a totally different way. So Joseph Campbell is this incredible writer and philosopher, and what he talked about was how in any storyline, in any character's life, the character goes through a process of becoming the hero of their own story. And there's challenges in that storyline. And it goes a little something like this, and maybe you can relate. First, the character is in their normal world. They're just existing in their normal world. And then they are aware of this new possible goal or dream that they have. It's like a call. He calls it a call to action. And oftentimes the first step in the hero's journey is the refusal of the call. We decide to just push, next on Netflix and stay cozy in our happy little cocoon. And we aren't rising to this challenge immediately. We kind of refuse the call. And we all know what happens right after we refuse the call to our purpose and refuse the call to our greatness and this new action step. What ends up happening is it shows back up. It's another opportunity to come into our lives. But what ends up happening is the mentor comes into our lives. Maybe it's the neighbor, or maybe it's a professor, or maybe it's a partner, somebody, a YouTube channel these days. I don't know what you might consider, symbolically a mentor, but the mentor enters the picture and they encourage us to take that first step and go and embark on the journey. Meeting your mentor. As you embark on this journey, very quickly you'll learn there's many steps in this hero's journey. It's pretty incredible. Definitely look up the hero's journey if you haven't already to glean more inspiration from this. At some point, you will come across a challenge. And the challenge isn't just the normal challenges of that you would face anyways, because as you're watching Netflix, you need to go downstairs and get a glass of water, whatever. You're gonna have challenges in your comfy little space. But these challenges are the daily, like, we need food and water and need to take care of ourselves. But in addition to that are these new crazy challenges that you have no idea how to confront, and you don't have the skills or the tools yet. You have to overcome them. And ultimately, you slay the dragon. And after you slay the dragon, you have a process of then going back to your normal world, going back to the village that you came from, and sharing your elixir. So if you look at it in the form of recovery, for example, like for me, next month for Bellevue College, I'm teaching a de-stress seminar on breath work, visualization, and EFT. And I can't even tell you, I am someone who really needed de-stressing for a very long time in my life. I mean, the reason why I learned about this and am now teaching it, sharing the elixir with my village, is because I had to slay my own dragon. And I've had many mentors that have gotten me here. So I just think that, and I had a call to action, and I definitely refused the call, and I felt the pain of that. And um, anytime that you see someone who has any level of success in any area of their life, please consider that they have had to, lean on a mentor, and they've had to slay a dragon, and that the message that they have is the elixir that they're sharing is through their own mess to success story. I just love Joseph Campbell's take on it because it just reminds you that, in a way, to give back what you've been given. And it reminds you that as you're going through challenging moments, that you are just a character in this story that has an opportunity, and that truly the journey itself is what, makes you, that forms your offering later on. So pay close attention as you're going through the process. So, I'll just leave you with this, which is just, I believe a lot about mindset. And that word is thrown around a lot. And I know that people might have their own prejudgments about that word, but let's just take a look at, what it's like to experience challenge, but beat yourself up the whole time you're experiencing the challenge. Negative self-talk, beating yourself up, feeling like a victim, adding story where story doesn't need to be added, or going through a challenge and saying, "Oh, I need some extra self-care," or, "Ooh, I'm starting to be really tired. I might need to kick my feet up," or, "I think I can call that person," or, "Oh my gosh, I'm doing that thing again that I always do. Oh, that's so funny. I deeply love myself anyway, even though I'm doing that thing I always do when I'm trying to survive." Imagine if you had like a growth mindset, a loving kindness mindset towards yourself while you were going through challenge. You're going to go through the challenge anyway. So you can either have a downward spiral experience, or you can have a growth mindset experience. And I heard Maston Kipp actually today just mention that if you're going to have a growth mindset, you have to have a growth nervous system. And that's what I teach. I teach resilience. I teach widening your window of tolerance. I just love this idea that we can, we are going to be going through a growth period in our lives. If you're on that trajectory where you're learning about yourself and you're in that discovery, and you're also just living, we aren't always healing and working on ourselves, just living life. But then at the same time, as you're swinging out and you're taking more risks and you're assuming more responsibility and you're in your dream life and your dream relationships, co-creating your companies with people, in community, overcoming challenges, seeing what the world needs, being a product of, of the community, what you'll come to find is that you're growing. So we're not talking about some perpetual need to be in like a healing process. I'm just talking about living your life. And as you're living your life and you have this growth mindset because you're simply living, being kind to yourself and asking for help and not being afraid to share what you've received is part of it all. It's a huge part of it all. We don't just have to isolate and brace ourselves and beat ourselves up or have fear because we're going through something hard. Okay. So I just wanted to bring that message to you guys today. It was here for me to share. And if you have any questions about what I've just shared, feel free to reach out and PM me, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.